So apparently, Titanfall 3 is actually happening. Apparently. I'll believe it when I see it. But two well-known and trusted data miners and leakers for Apex Legends have come out within the last couple of days and have apparently said that Titanfall 3 is actually happening, and we're going to be getting it pretty soon. Again, I'll believe it when I see it and when that game is in my hands, but it's always fun to talk about Titanfall. It's one of the best shooter games ever that's never gotten the love that it has deserved. So let's have a chat about it today. Here's the thing. Apparently, according to these leakers, we should be getting Titanfall 3 shown off officially at the Game Awards this year. Now, of course, that's a long time away. That's like 8 months away. I think it's in like December of this year, right? Of 2025. We should be getting it officially revealed then. And then it's supposed to be dropping next year in 2026, which, by the way, would be 10 years after Titanfall 2 released. Can you believe that? It's been 9 years. As of right now, it's been 9 years since Titanfall 2 came out. I mean, that's just absurd, dude. Absolutely unreal. But let's talk about this because Titanfall to me is one of my favorite franchises, and I felt like major sadness in my soul when Titanfall 2 came out and it did not get the attention that it deserved and was supposed to get. I mean, I remember when Titanfall 1 came out originally, I think in like 2014 or something like that, back on the Xbox One and on PC. It was an Xbox and PC exclusive at the time. It went on to sell like 10 million copies or something like that. And it was like this wow moment for the shooter space. You know, it was this wall running, Titan dropping, really dope amalgamation of an FPS game. It was so cool. The problem, though, and the reason why the first game, the first iteration, after its initial boost, never really had any form of long-term success is because the game, number one, it didn't have a campaign. There was no campaign in the game. And then number two, they didn't really have a lot to do in the multiplayer. Like, the gameplay was amazing in Titanfall 1, but after the gameplay, there really wasn't a lot to do. There wasn't really any progression, if I remember correctly. And it was very, very, very bare bones. It was honestly kind of like how Halo Infinite dropped. Halo Infinite released, and like the core gameplay there was so good. Like they finally nailed the formula of a Halo game in the modern age, but there's nothing to do in the game. And that's kind of what Titanfall 1 was like. So when Titanfall 2 came out in 2016 and basically fixed all of that, I mean, Titanfall fans were like, oh my God, like this is the moment. Like, this is the time. Like, we are here and we're ready to shine. You know what I mean? Titanfall 2 came out and it had one of the best campaigns of any shooter game in history. That campaign, while short, is amazing. And then you have the gameplay of the multiplayer. They took the formula of Titanfall 1 and they just refined it for Titanfall 2. And it's so fluid. It flows so nice. Everything is so responsive. It is beautiful the way that the gameplay is in multiplayer. The maps are great. The game modes are great. Literally everything about Titanfall 2's multiplayer is amazing. You've got progression. You've got, customization. There's so many. They had like a clan system in the game, which was so cool. So much stuff about Titanfall 2 was S tier. And honestly, when you look back on it now, I mean, really, if you were to download Titanfall 2 right now and play it, you'd be like, wow, this game is like honestly better than like so many other shooters that have come out in recent years. And it came out in 2016. The game is so good. But there was one major problem that happened with that game. And the defining reason for why that game never, ever reached its potential and never will reach its potential. Let me paint a picture for you here. Let me tell you a story. So we have 3 weeks that we're going to look at here. Week number 1, 2, and 3, okay? Week number 1, all right? This week number 1, that was the release of Battlefield 1. Now, if you guys are Battlefield fans or you're aware of the Battlefield scene, you would know that Battlefield 1 is the last good Battlefield. Battlefield 2042, not good. And Battlefield 5, not that great either. Battlefield 1 was the last good Battlefield, right? So Battlefield 1 came out on week 1. Week 2, I'm talking 1 week later, Titanfall 2 released. And then on week 3, 1 week later, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare released. So we've got Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare sandwiching Titanfall 2. By the way, Titanfall was still a brand new IP at this point. It was a brand new, untested IP. It had success on Xbox and PC before, but it didn't maintain that success, right? So Titanfall 2 was very much supposed to be the thing that kind of pushes the franchise forward. And that's what they did with the game. They made the game amazing. They took everything from the original and they just improved upon it and made it fantastic in Titanfall 2. But EA gave them the launch window to release 1 week between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, Infinite Warfare, not a good game, not a good Call of Duty, but it still sells like hotcakes because it's Call of Duty. And Battlefield 1 was obviously very well received and is a good Battlefield game. Here's the kicker, and the thing that always confused the hell out of me with this situation: EA is the publisher of both Battlefield and Titanfall. Why? The only thing I can think of, and this is the first time I thought about this, but the only thing I can think of is maybe EA was just trying to stick it to Activision, and they were like, we've got 2 games releasing this month, and we're going to take your market share with our 2 games versus your 1. And if that's what their goal was, that's fucking stupid. EA publishes Battlefield and Titanfall. So for the life of me, I cannot, in good conscience, understand why they would release those games back to back, especially when Titanfall was still an unproven franchise. It didn't have the household name that Battlefield and Call of Duty did at the time. It still needed to be proven. And also, too, this was the first time that it was released on all platforms. It was released on PlayStation as well with Titanfall 2. So this, to this day, irks my soul because launch, I remember at the time, I made a video a couple days after Titanfall 2 released. And I talked about how, like, I had the money to buy both Battlefield and Titanfall, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to spend money on both games, so I waited on Battlefield and I bought Titanfall 2. But I had that, like, mental conversation with myself where I was like, I don't know what to buy here. I've got 3 major shooter games releasing within 3 weeks of each other. I don't know, how am I going to spend my money appropriately here? The launch week numbers for Titanfall 2 had the game peaking at around 75,000 players across all platforms. Now, keep this in mind, Titanfall 2 actually has an in-game player counter. That doesn't happen in today's day and age. Now we have to rely on SteamDB and, the weekly, like, top 40 charts that come out, but that's like an API thing. It's not like directly from PlayStation and Xbox. It's like nowadays, companies don't want to tell us how many people actually play the game, but Titanfall 2 right now still has the in-game counter. You can go check it out right now and see how many people are actually playing the game. And that was the case back in 2016 when the game came out. So we could see exactly how many people were playing. And it was only 75,000 people at peak across all platforms. Launch week. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible for a majorly published game that is not good. And as a result, it's been 9 years since we've had a Titanfall game, right? So from a sales perspective, it didn't do well. We know this. And it's EA's fault because the people who have played the game, they know that Titanfall 2 is amazing. So I say all these things to get to today, right? To now. The idea, the concept of a Titanfall 3 that actually might somehow be a thing, this is what needs to happen. Respawn has proven that they know what the hell to do with Titanfall. They know how to make a Titanfall game, obviously. But EA needs to let them do it, and they need to release the game when it can actually be successful. So, we already have a gaming landscape that actually is conducive to the success of Titanfall 3 right now. I'm not capping. I'm not kidding. Right now is probably the best time for Titanfall 3 to come out. And the reason why I say that is because Call of Duty is kind of at its lowest point since Vanguard, potentially even lower, depending on who you talk to. Halo doesn't have a mainline game coming out anytime soon. We might get a Halo CE next year, and we might have multiplayer with that, but we really don't know what's going on with that. Battlefield is coming. We'll see what happens with that. But that's pretty much it for the arena shooter space. Like it's kind of up in the air right now. You know, you've got Marvel Rivals, but that's a hero shooter, right? So it's a different genre, and that game's doing phenomenal, and I love that game. But there really is a hole in the market for a successful Titanfall game. There really is. Like there is a significant opportunity for Titanfall 3 to come in, be released, and it actually become a successful game. So that's the window. But I want to talk about the other part, which is allowing Respawn to actually make the game good. Because we've already discussed how EA is the responsible party for not allowing Titanfall 2 to be successful. So with the Titanfall 3, EA needs to relinquish their grasp on the game and allow Respawn to cook. Let Respawn be creative and make the game that everybody wants. Titanfall has a super like cult following of people who love the game. And if you're going to release a Titanfall 3, you got to please those people. Here's the thing. If EA, Respawn, if you guys do not release Titanfall 3 and it does not match or exceed the level of quality that we have with Titanfall 2, don't even do it. Do not release the game if it's not going to match or exceed Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 has set the bar. The only reason why that game never achieved success is because of what EA did with the launch. The game is amazing. So if you allow EA, if you allow Respawn to cook again with Titanfall 3 and make it the way it needs to be, you got yourself a money printing machine with Titanfall 3. Now, a couple things to consider in terms of modern gaming, right? Titanfall 2, I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain that Titanfall 2 does not utilize skill-based matchmaking, which, of course, that's a conversation piece for everybody in the industry, but I think no SBMM is a good thing. Do I see them releasing a Titanfall 3 without SBMM? Honestly, I don't. It will probably be in the game. I hope that's not the case, but it probably will be. So that's a discussion for a later time if we do, in fact, get Titanfall 3. With that being said, that's the first thing. Other things are monetization, right? This is modern gaming. We're going to have seasons, and we're going to have battle passes in Titanfall 3. It's just going to happen. Apex, obviously, has been doing this for a long time. It's the same developers. They're going to have, a blueprint, if that makes sense, for battle passes and seasons. The one thing, though, is that I do very much hope that Titanfall 3 is not a free-to-play game. I hope it's a paid game. And if it's a paid game, then hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a tempered microtransaction situation, because one of the things that was really great about Titanfall 2 was the progression, right? You could progress, you could customize your character, unlock things. I want that to be the case in Titanfall 3. Allow that to be there. The thing is if you just simply take all the good things from Titanfall 2 and you do it again, you've got yourself a good game. Like it's really quite a simple scenario here. So I'm not going to count my chickens before they're hatched. I'm not even really going to get excited about this. It's just, this is the first time we've had any sort of real credible information about a Titanfall 3 possibly coming. And it does theoretically make sense because 2026 is 10 years after Titanfall 2 came out. So it could kind of be the thing that makes sense. The only other thing I'll mention here at the end is just, if Titanfall 2 was the Halo 2 moment of the Titanfall franchise in terms of quality, not sales, but quality, then Titanfall 3 could be the Halo 3 moment of the Titanfall franchise, if that makes sense. Like, Halo 3 compared to Halo 2, like, it took everything that Halo 2 did right, and it just expanded and went crazy with it. And Halo 3 was one of the most successful shooter games of all time. Titanfall 3 can do the same thing for the Titanfall franchise, if that makes sense. I'm fumbling on my words. But my point is, Titanfall 3 can be the Halo 3 of Titanfall, if done right. There's a very real opportunity here, and I hope so much that this is a thing that's actually happening and it's not smoke and mirrors. We'll find out. So let me know in the comments your guys' thoughts. Do you believe a Titanfall 3 is coming? We've been burned many, many times, so I don't blame you if you don't think so. I still don't really think so. I'm just, it's fun to talk about Titanfall sometimes. So, that's my perspective. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think it's coming? If it is, are you excited? Are you cautious based off of EA's track record? What are your perspectives on this whole situation? And subscribe for more content like this if we have Titanfall 3. we'll definitely be talking about it here on the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.